Hello everyone, welcome to my history on something not of this world. For the first time, I will be making a history video exclusively on something not on Earth. The topic, the Apollo 11 mission. Today marks the anniversary of one of the most important events in history, so let's learn about it. To the 2 or 3 people who are watching this video. To begin, we need to rewind back to a ridiculous decade which had plenty of major political assassinations and high hippies who tried to perform an exorcism on the Pentagon building.
And they're going to surround it with chanting and love and drum beating. And the Pentagon is going to rise into the air. And when it gets about 300 feet in the air, it's going to start to vibrate. And all the evil spirits are going to pour out.
Come on, what else would it be besides the 1960s? Following the Cuban Missile Crisis, the closest humanity ever got to extinction, the thing you may know as the Cold War was in full swing. The US and Soviet Union were rivals in everything: sports, economics, politics, and artificial kidney production. The president of the US, JFK, who I made an entire video on, and the General Secretary of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union, Nikita Khrushchev, began to try and rally support for their respective citizens by trying to be the first to do something special. And so, the two men thought about going to the moon, which sounded ludicrous at the time. However, they were serious. Back in 1958, President Dwight D. Eisenhower established the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, or NASA. It was made to be the American go-to organization for all space stuff. NASA was founded by the US since the Soviets beat them to space with a Sputnik probe. However, it had no people in it. So, NASA began working to get people into space. However, in 1961, the Soviets infuriated NASA once again by launching Yuri Gagarin into space, who would die under mysterious circumstances, meaning they launched the first person into space. However, NASA was still desperate to do something first, and so they began trying to do something very audacious, to get someone to the moon. In January of 1969, NASA selected 3 astronauts for the new Apollo 11 mission: Commander Neil Armstrong, Command Module Pilot Michael Collins, and Lunar Module Pilot Buzz Aldrin. By this point, the US had constructed the Apollo 11 spacecraft in Florida, meaning the Apollo 11 mission was ready for launch. On this day, July 16th, 52 years ago in 1969, the Apollo 11 spacecraft was launched at 9:32 a.m. from the Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral, Florida. It would be a 3D passage for the astronauts to the moon. Here is a video of this very historic event.
11, 10, 9, ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11. Power.
On July 20th, 1969, 3.5 days later, the Apollo 11 craft successfully landed on the moon. A bit later, Neil Armstrong would get out of it and become the first person to ever step on anything other than the Earth, in this case, the moon. He would plant the American flag on the moon and then say what is one of the most famous quotes of the modern era.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
This event was being watched live by 1/5 of the world at the time, or 723 million people. After 2.25 hours, the astronauts got back on their craft and set back for Earth. 3.5 days later, on July 24th, the Apollo 11 craft safely crash-landed in the Pacific Ocean, with the USS Hornet waiting for them. The astronauts would be quarantined to make sure they didn't have whatever was on the moon. I don't know. Lunar coronavirus? I don't know. But anyway, spoiler alert, they didn't have any space disease. After, they would return to New York City and become giant celebrities for contributing to one of the greatest events in human history. Ever since the lunar landing, 8 other people would walk on the moon, and 553 would go to space. Armstrong would sadly pass away in 2012, and Michael Collins would pass away just 3 months before this video was made in April of this year, leaving just Buzz Aldrin. Oh, and many more people are going to be going to space this year, so stay tuned for that, including one we all wish would just never come back. You know, yours truly. And with that, that was my history of the Apollo 11 moon landing. I'm glad to have covered such a historic event with so many firsts and achievements attached to it. Who knows, maybe humanity will try and visit perhaps another planet. Anyways, my next video will be a biography on someone who also likes going into the air and is known for it. They are called the Babe of the Sky. It is, of course, the legend Amelia Earhart. It will come out on July 24th. Thanks for watching.